Based on the historical data and forecast, Bitcoin has shown a sideways trend with fluctuations between the support price of $117,400 and the resistance price of $119,300. The RSI indicates that the asset is currently approaching the overbought territory, with a value of 69.9. The Bollinger Bands suggest that the price is nearing the upper band, indicating potential for a pullback. Considering these factors, I recommend a cautious strategy focusing on short-term gains. We will implement a strategy based on RSI and Bollinger Bands. The strategy will involve a long position when the RSI falls below 20 and a short position when the RSI exceeds 80. When the RSI drops below 20, enter a long position at $116,500, set a stop loss at $116,000, and target a price of $118,500. When the RSI exceeds 80, enter a short position at $119,900, set a stop loss at $120,500, and target a price of $118,000. This combined approach should allow us to capitalize on short-term price movements while mitigating risk. Based on the historical data and forecast, Ethereum demonstrates a strong upward trend. The RSI consistently remains above 70, indicating overbought conditions, but the price continues to climb. The Bollinger Bands are widening, suggesting increased volatility and potential for further price movement. The forecast for the next week shows a continued upward trajectory, with prices expected to reach $4,010. Considering the current overbought RSI and the upward trend, I recommend a long position strategy. We will enter a long position at $3,890, placing a stop-loss order at $3,800 to manage risk. The target price will be set at $3,960, aiming to capitalize on the short-term upward momentum. To refine this strategy, we'll incorporate the Bollinger Bands. If the price touches the upper band, we will consider taking profit. The RSI signals an overbought condition, and the forecast suggests continued upward movement. Therefore, the strategy will be a combination of RSI and Bollinger Bands. If the price reaches $3,960, we will take profit. If the RSI falls below 30, we will exit the position. This combined approach balances the signals from both indicators, aiming for high returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, XRP shows a recent period of volatility followed by a slight downward trend. The RSI consistently above 80 indicates an overbought condition, suggesting a potential pullback is likely. The forecast data for the next week projects a decrease, further supporting a cautious approach. Therefore, I recommend a short selling strategy. We will enter a short position at $3.34. The stop loss will be set at $3.37, just above the upper Bollinger Band to protect against a potential rebound. The initial target price is $3.15, aligning with the recent support levels and the forecast. To refine the strategy, we'll incorporate a dynamic adjustment based on the RSI and Bollinger Bands. If the price reaches $3.15, we will take partial profits and adjust the stop loss to the entry price of $3.34 to secure profits and limit potential losses. If the RSI falls below 40, indicating an oversold condition, we will close the remaining position. This layered approach, combining the initial short position with dynamic adjustments, aims to maximize returns while managing risk effectively in this volatile market. Based on the historical data and forecast, BNB shows a strong upward trend, consistently challenging and breaching the resistance level of $842. The RSI consistently above 70 indicates overbought conditions, but the price continues to rise, suggesting strong bullish momentum. The forecast for the next week predicts prices hovering around $811 to $827, further reinforcing the upward trajectory. Considering these factors, I recommend a long position strategy with an entry price of $811. To mitigate risk, set a stop loss at $803, just below the recent support level. For the target price, aim for $842, the previous resistance, offering a potential gain of $31. To refine this strategy, we incorporate the Bollinger Bands. The price consistently trading above the upper band suggests a strong bullish trend, confirming our long position. We can use the lower band as a dynamic support level. If the price retraces to the lower band, around $653, it presents a buying opportunity. However, given the current momentum, our primary strategy remains the initial long position. The RSI nearing oversold levels of 20 would be a strong buy signal, but we haven't seen this recently. Therefore, the most efficient portfolio combines the strong upward trend, RSI momentum, and Bollinger Band's confirmation, resulting in the recommended long position with an entry of $811, a stop loss of $803, and a target of $842. Based on the historical data and forecast, Solana exhibits a generally upward trend, although with considerable volatility. The RSI consistently fluctuates, nearing overbought territory, closing at 52.6 on July 30, 2025. The Bollinger Bands indicate periods of price expansion and contraction, suggesting potential for both upward and downward movements. Given the recent price action and the forecast, I recommend a long position. Entry price should be $183, utilizing the start of the forecast period as a strategic entry point. Set a stop loss at $177, aligning with the established support level, to mitigate potential losses. The initial target price should be $197, based on the upper Bollinger Band observed on July 24, 2025. To refine this strategy, I'll incorporate RSI signals. When the RSI dips below 30, consider entering a long position. If the RSI exceeds 70, consider exiting the long position. The portfolio will be 60% based on the Bollinger Band strategy, 30% on the RSI strategy, and 10% on the support and resistance levels. For the Bollinger Band strategy, if the price touches the bottom band, enter a long position with a stop loss at the bottom band -$1 and a target price at the middle band. For the RSI strategy, if the RSI is below 30, enter a long position with a stop loss at the entry price -$3 and a target price at the entry price +$10. For the support and resistance strategy, if the price touches the support level, enter a long position with a stop loss at the support level -$2 and a target price at the resistance level. This diversified approach aims to capitalize on various market signals, maximizing potential returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Dogecoin has shown a volatile trend with periods of both upward and downward movement. The RSI values have fluctuated significantly, reaching overbought conditions, above 80, and oversold conditions, below 20. Considering the recent RSI values hovering around 50, and the forecast prices showing a slight downward trend with a peak of 0.241, I propose a cautious buying strategy. We will enter a long position at $0.232, placing a stop-loss order at $0.201, just below the support level. The initial target price will be $0.241, aligning with the forecast high. To refine the strategy, we'll incorporate the Bollinger Bands. The price is currently near the middle band, suggesting a potential for a move either way. If the price breaks above the upper Bollinger Band, 0.277, we'll adjust the target price to $0.277. Conversely, if the price falls below the lower Bollinger Band, 0.18, we will exit the position to minimize losses. This combined RSI and Bollinger Bands approach aims to capitalize on short-term price movements while mitigating risk through strategic stop-loss and target adjustments. Based on the historical data and forecast, TRON exhibits a slight upward trend with periods of consolidation. The RSI consistently fluctuates around the overbought and oversold levels, indicating volatility. The Bollinger Bands show that the price has been nearing the upper band recently, suggesting a potential pullback. Considering these factors, I propose a strategy combining trend following and mean reversion. We will initiate a long position at $0.332, coinciding with the start of the forecast period and recent upward momentum. A stop loss will be placed at $0.318, aligning with the established support level to mitigate potential losses if the trend reverses. The initial target price will be $0.344, reflecting the forecast high for the week and a reasonable profit margin. To refine the strategy, we will incorporate RSI and Bollinger Band signals. If the RSI falls below 20 during the forecast period, indicating an oversold condition, we will consider adding to our position at the prevailing price, with a revised stop-loss slightly above the recent low. Conversely, if the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, it could also signal an oversold condition and a potential entry point. However, given the recent upward trend and proximity to the upper Bollinger Band, we will prioritize the initial long position and adjust based on RSI signals. The final target price will be $0.345, representing the highest forecast price for the week, and will be adjusted based on market conditions and further technical indicators. Based on the historical data and forecast, Cardano has shown volatility with a recent upward trend, but the forecast indicates a potential downward correction. The RSI is currently above 70, suggesting overbought conditions, which aligns with the upper Bollinger Band. We will implement a short-term contrarian strategy, anticipating a pullback. Entry price will be $0.778, placing a stop-loss order at $0.797 to protect against a continued upward trend. The target price will be $0.766, aiming to capitalize on the predicted downward correction. To refine the strategy, we will integrate Bollinger Bands and RSI signals. When the price touches the upper Bollinger Band and RSI exceeds 80, it signals a potential short-term reversal. Considering the forecast, we will enter a short position at $0.785, with a stop-loss at $0.797. The target price will be $0.766, aligning with the forecast. This combined approach leverages both technical indicators to maximize potential returns while minimizing risk. Based on the historical data and forecast, Sui demonstrates a fluctuating trend with periods of consolidation. The RSI consistently hovers around the 60 to 70 range, suggesting a moderately bullish sentiment, but approaching overbought territory. The Bollinger Bands indicate increasing volatility, with prices frequently touching the upper band, suggesting potential for a pullback. Considering the recent price action and the forecast, a strategic approach would involve a cautious long position. We will enter a long position at $3.85, coinciding with the forecast price on August 1, 2025, and August 2, 2025. A stop-loss will be placed at $3.49, just below the established support level, to mitigate potential losses. To capitalize on potential upward momentum, we will target a price of $4.36, aligning with the recent resistance levels. We will implement a layered approach, taking partial profits at $4.16 and $4.36. This strategy combines RSI signals, Bollinger Band analysis, and support/resistance levels to maximize potential returns while managing risk. The initial position size will be determined based on individual risk tolerance, but a conservative allocation is recommended given the inherent volatility of the market. This strategy aims for a high-return investment with a clearly defined entry, stop-loss, and target prices. Based on the historical data and forecast, Stellar shows a recent downtrend with periods of volatility. The RSI consistently above 80 indicates an overbought condition, suggesting a potential pullback or correction. The forecast prices are slightly decreasing, further reinforcing the expectation of a downward movement in the short term. Considering these factors, I recommend a short position strategy. The entry price should be $0.442, coinciding with the first day of the forecast period and the current overbought condition. A stop-loss should be placed above the upper Bollinger Band at $0.439 to protect against unexpected upward spikes. The initial target price should be set at $0.422, aligning with the forecast price for August 6, 2025. To refine this strategy, we'll incorporate the Bollinger Bands. If the price touches the upper band, we will immediately initiate a short position. The stop-loss will be set at $0.439, slightly above the upper band. If the price falls to the lower band, we will close the position and secure the profit. The target price will be $0.422, based on the forecast. This combined strategy leverages both RSI and Bollinger Bands to maximize potential returns while managing risk effectively. The portfolio will prioritize this short position due to the confluence of technical indicators suggesting a downward trend. Based on the historical data and forecast, Wrapped Beacon ETH demonstrates a clear upward trend. The price has consistently tested and rebounded from the support price of $4,030, while the forecast indicates a continued rise towards $4,310. The RSI has been largely in overbought territory, fluctuating between 76 and 87, suggesting potential for a pullback but overall bullish momentum. Considering this, I recommend a long position strategy. The entry price should be $4,180, coinciding with the initial forecast price and recent price action. To mitigate risk, set a stop loss at $4,070, just below the recent low and the support price. For the target price, aiming for $4,310 aligns with the forecast and provides a substantial profit margin. To optimize the strategy, incorporate Bollinger Bands. When the price touches the upper band, consider taking partial profits to secure gains. The recent price has been near the upper band, indicating a potential for a short-term correction. If the price falls to the lower band, it could be an opportunity to re-enter the position at a lower price. Therefore, the portfolio will be a combination of the RSI strategy and Bollinger Band strategy, with an entry price of $4,180, a stop loss of $4,070, and a target price of $4,310. This blended approach leverages both momentum and volatility indicators for a high-return investment. Based on the historical data and forecast, Ethereum demonstrates a strong upward trend. The RSI consistently remains above 70, indicating overbought conditions, but the price continues to climb. The Bollinger Bands are widening, suggesting increased volatility and potential for further price movement. The forecast for the next week shows a continued upward trajectory, with prices expected to reach $4,010. Considering the current overbought RSI and the upward trend, I recommend a long position strategy. We will enter a long position at $3,890, placing a stop-loss order at $3,800 to manage risk. The target price will be set at $3,960, aiming to capitalize on the short-term upward momentum. To refine this strategy, we'll incorporate the Bollinger Bands. If the price touches the upper band, we will consider taking profit. The RSI signals an overbought condition, and the forecast suggests continued upward movement. Therefore, the strategy will be a combination of RSI and Bollinger Bands. If the price reaches $3,960, we will take profit. If the RSI falls below 30, we will exit the position. This combined approach balances the signals from both indicators, aiming for high returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, TRON shows an overall upward trend, consistently testing and bouncing off the support level of $3.34. The RSI fluctuating between 53.2 and 72.0 indicates periods of both oversold and overbought conditions, but generally trending upwards. The Bollinger Bands have been widening, suggesting increasing volatility, with the price frequently touching the upper band, hinting at potential bullish momentum. Therefore, I recommend a long position strategy. Specifically, I suggest entering a long position at $3.35. Given the recent price action and the forecast, a conservative stop loss should be placed slightly below the support level at $3.33. For the target price, aiming for a 5% gain, we can set a target at $3.52. This strategy combines the upward trend, RSI readings, and Bollinger Band signals to maximize potential returns while managing risk. The RSI is not at an oversold level, but the price is approaching the support level, so this is a good entry point. Based on the historical data and forecast, Litecoin exhibits a generally upward trend, although with some volatility. The RSI fluctuates between 57.5 and 83.9, indicating periods of both oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands show price movement relative to the center band, with the recent prices nearing the upper band. Considering the support price of $108 and the forecast prices hovering around $111 to $113, a long position appears favorable. I recommend entering a long position at $110 with a stop loss placed at $108 to mitigate potential losses. A target price of $113 would provide a reasonable profit margin, capitalizing on the anticipated upward movement. To refine this strategy, I will incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Band signals. When the RSI dips below 60, indicating an oversold condition, and the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, it's a strong buy signal. Conversely, when the RSI exceeds 75 and the price reaches the upper Bollinger Band, it signals a potential pullback. Therefore, I suggest a portfolio combining the initial long position with additional entries based on these signals. For instance, if the RSI falls to 58.5 and the price touches the bottom Bollinger Band of 87.6, enter a long position at $87.6 with a stop loss at $85 and a target price of $95. This diversified approach leverages multiple indicators to maximize profit potential while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, DeXe shows a slightly upward trend with periods of consolidation. The RSI consistently fluctuates around the midpoint, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. However, the Bollinger Bands have been contracting recently, suggesting a period of low volatility and potential for a breakout. Given the support price of $7.41 and the forecast prices hovering around $7.32 to $7.45, I recommend a moderately bullish strategy. We will utilize a combined approach incorporating RSI, Bollinger Bands, and support/resistance levels to maximize returns. The entry price will be $7.32, coinciding with a potential touch of the lower Bollinger Band and a pullback in the forecast. The stop loss will be set at $7.41, just above the established support level, to limit potential losses. The initial target price will be $7.49, aligning with the recent resistance level. If the price reaches $7.49, we will move the stop loss to the break-even point, $7.32, and set a second target price at $7.95, based on the upper Bollinger Band. This strategy balances risk and reward, capitalizing on the potential upward movement while providing protection against adverse price action. Based on the historical data and forecast, Sonic demonstrates a downtrend with increasing volatility. The RSI consistently hovers below 60, indicating weakening momentum, and the forecast suggests continued downward pressure. The support price remains stable at $0.309, while the resistance fluctuates but remains relatively high. Considering these factors, I propose a short-selling strategy with a focus on capitalizing on the anticipated downward movement. Entry price will be set at $0.317, with a stop-loss order placed at $0.338 to limit potential losses if the price unexpectedly reverses. The initial target price will be $0.309, aligning with the established support level. To refine this strategy, I will incorporate the Bollinger Bands. When the price touches the lower band, it signals a potential oversold condition, which could be a good entry point for a short position. Conversely, when the price approaches the upper band, it suggests an overbought condition, prompting a cautious approach. The final portfolio will be a combination of the RSI and Bollinger Band strategies. Specifically, when the RSI falls below 40 and the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, enter a short position at $0.311 with a stop loss at $0.338 and a target price of $0.309. This combined approach leverages both momentum indicators to enhance the probability of a successful trade. Based on the historical data and forecast, Curve DAO shows a volatile trend with periods of both upward and downward movement. The RSI consistently remains above 70, indicating overbought conditions, while the price fluctuates between the support of $0.994 and the resistance of $1.1. The Bollinger Bands also suggest increased volatility. Considering this, I recommend a strategy focusing on short-term trades capitalizing on price pullbacks to the support level. Specifically, when the price retraces to $0.994, enter a long position with a stop loss at $0.98 and a target price of $1.07. This strategy aims to profit from the anticipated upward movement in the forecast period. To refine the strategy, we can incorporate the Bollinger Bands. When the price touches the lower band around $0.614, enter a long position with a stop loss at $0.59 and a target price of $1.07. This approach leverages the tendency of prices to revert to the mean. Combining the RSI and Bollinger Bands, the most efficient portfolio involves entering long positions when the price reaches the support level of $0.994 or the lower Bollinger Band, setting a stop loss at $0.98 or $0.59 respectively, and targeting a profit at $1.07. This multifaceted approach provides a robust framework for maximizing returns while managing risk. Based on the historical data and forecast, Bitcoin Cash shows a clear upward trend. The price has consistently tested and bounced off the support level of $583, while the resistance level of $622 has been a challenge. The RSI values have generally been trending upwards, with recent values exceeding 60, indicating strengthening momentum. The Bollinger Bands have been widening, suggesting increased volatility and potential for further price movement. Considering these factors, I propose a long position strategy with a focus on capitalizing on the bullish momentum. We will enter a long position at $572. The stop loss will be placed slightly below the support level at $564 to mitigate potential downside risk. The initial target price will be set at $598, aligning with the forecast price and a reasonable profit margin. If the price reaches $598, we will move the stop loss to break even to protect profits. If the price continues to rise and breaks through the $622 resistance, we will adjust the target price to $604. This strategy combines technical indicators and price action analysis to maximize potential returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Ethena has shown a strong upward trend from July 17, 2025, to July 30, 2025. The price has consistently broken through resistance levels, and the forecast for the next week indicates continued upward momentum. The RSI values have generally been above 60, suggesting a bullish sentiment, with brief periods above 80 indicating overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been expanding, indicating increased volatility and potential for further price movement. Considering these factors, I recommend a long position strategy. Specifically, I suggest entering a long position at $0.595. Given the recent price action and the forecast, a reasonable stop loss would be placed at $0.571, near the support level. The target price should be set at $0.666, the previous resistance level. This strategy combines the upward trend, RSI readings, and Bollinger Bands expansion to maximize potential returns while managing risk. The RSI is currently at 67.9, which is not overbought, so there's room for further upside. The forecast price of $0.627, $0.631, $0.65, $0.646, $0.634, $0.639 further supports this bullish outlook. Based on the historical data and forecast, Conflux shows a volatile trend with recent upward momentum. The RSI consistently hovers above 60, indicating a generally bullish sentiment, but recently peaked above 80, suggesting potential overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been expanding, confirming increased volatility, and the forecast prices suggest a continued upward trajectory, reaching $0.261. Considering the current conditions, I propose a long position strategy focusing on capitalizing on potential pullbacks within the broader uptrend. Specifically, I recommend entering a long position at $0.211. Given the recent overbought RSI readings, a conservative stop loss should be placed slightly below the recent support level at $0.205. For the target price, I anticipate a move towards the next resistance level of $0.248, providing a reasonable profit margin. To manage risk, consider scaling out of the position as the price approaches $0.248. This strategy combines trend analysis, RSI signals, and Bollinger Band observations to maximize potential returns while mitigating downside risk.